Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our Unity Clear Lake Center in Low Lake service this morning. And we would like to have everyone Zoom, or I should say, everyone mute, please, your sound from now on through the whole service and through Dave's talk. Well, through the whole service. Thank you. So we're going to begin with having Rachel give us the beginning, the morning prayer. Thank you, Rachel. And then Bill will sing Surely the Presence and the Lord's Prayer.
Really?
Really?
I thought I started with a song, but I'll be happy to do
Oh,
that.
Bill. Of course, Bill.
How about a
And
Joy
thank
song,
you.
Bill?
Yeah,
Here we
Joyce.
go. Joy song from Bill. And Bill, thank you so much for helping me. I'm so excited. Okay, here we go. Bill, we'll sing a Joy song.
Oh, I wanted a prayer first, though, right?
No, we
Oh,
want your, yeah, and then the prayer will come after that.
here we go. Pussy willows, cattails, soft winds and roses, rain pools in the woodland, water to my knees, shivering, quivering, the warm breath of spring. Pussy willows, cattails, soft winds and roses, catbirds and cornfields, daydreams together, riding on the roadside, the dust gets in your eyes, reveling, disheveling, the summer nights can bring. Pussy willows, cattails, soft winds and roses. Slanted rays and colored days, stark blue horizon, naked hills and wheat fields, lazy afternoon, voicing, rejoicing, the wine cups do bring. Pussy willows, cattails, soft winds and roses, harsh nights and candlelights, wood fires a-blazing, soft lips and fingertips resting in my soul, treasuring, remembering the promise of spring. Pussy willows, cattails, soft winds and roses. Pussy willows, cattails, soft winds and roses.
Thank you, Bill. That was wonderful as usual. What
Cats
a
on.
way to start. What a way to start. And now we will have Rachel give us our opening prayer.
Oh, so let's just all take a nice deep breath. Breathing in spirit, releasing anything that's not spirit. Bringing us to our center place within us, where we are connected with a divine source. As we say, divine, loving presence, Mother, Father, God, whatever name we give for our higher power. We're grateful for this day as we see around us the changing seasons, the trees turning colors of red, yellow, and gold, knowing full well that this is just the flow of the season of life. And this month also of Thanksgiving, reminding us to be grateful for each and everything, our breath, what we see, all of our senses, being able to sense this beautiful world we're in. And we want to go into that center of within us where we're connected with you, God, where our light shines from your magnificent light. And we know in this world of troubles and tribulations and so many things going on that we need to shine that light even brighter to all those around us, near and far, in our thoughts, in our words, in our deeds, in our actions, to stay centered and be that beacon of light for all those who need healing, who need protection, who need peace, who need compromise and compassion. We know if this is within us and we send that out, it'll be like a ping pong effect going out into the world, one light encouraging another light to shine, and another, until the whole world is full of your light, full of your peace and love. So we thank you for letting us be on this planet at this time, and knowing full well that we are here for a divine purpose, to be that light of love and peace. And we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen.
Now, Bill.
There you go. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the light is in this place. I can feel her mighty power and her grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the light is in this place. And the Lord's Prayer. Our Father and Mother, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Your voice just seems to get better and better. Thank you so much. So I'd like to remind everybody that they should be on mute now for the whole service. And Bill will, until Bill sings the closing peace song, and then we will open up for some chatting. So that is at the end of the service. So now let me continue with our church service. And I'd like you to think about this invocation affirmation, because this is who we are. There is only one presence and one power active in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. There is only one presence and one power active in Unity Clear Lake Center, God, the good, omnipotent. There is only one presence and one power active in our world, God, the good, omnipotent. And the basic foundation of unity is the five basic ideas of unity. God is absolute good everywhere present. Human beings have a spark of divine spirit within them, the Christ consciousness within. Therefore, they are inherently good. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Prayer is the process that affirms our connection with God mind and brings forth wisdom, healing, and everything good. And finally, knowing and understanding universal laws, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. And we'd like to continue now with Bill and some music for us. Thank you, Bill. Bill, you're going to need to unmute. Bill, unmute. Oh, Bill. Yo, Bill, unmute.
Now you got me. There you go. Okay.
You're muted.
This is as close as I could come.
There we go. Yay, Bill.
Close as I could come.
Okay.
God song.
Okay.
January's always bitter, but Lord, this one beats all. The wind ain't quit for weeks now. The drifts are 10 feet tall. I've been all night driving heifers closer into lower ground. Then I spent the morning thinking about the ones the wolves pulled down. Charlie Barton and his family stopped today to say goodbye. He said the bank was taken over, the last few years were just too dry. And I promised that I'd visit when they found a place in town. Then I spent a long time thinking about the ones the wolves pulled down. Oh Lord, please shine a light of hope on those of us who fall behind, yeah. And when we stumble in the snow, could you help us up while there's still time? Well, I don't mean to be complaining, Lord, you've always seen me through. And I know you got your reasons for each and everything you do. But tonight outside my window, there's a lonesome mournful sound, and I just can't keep from thinking about the ones the wolves pulled down. Oh Lord, keep me from being the one the wolves pulled down.
Wow, Bill, that was great. What was the name of that? I've never heard it before.
Oh, it's called Wolves. It's a Garth Brooks song.
WOL, okay.
I normally sing that in the middle of winter when the drifts are 10 feet tall, but it's coming.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a little blue thing that says mute. Am I muted? No. Am I good? Shake your head. Yay. Okay, let's continue then. So our daily word, well, Rachel, I think and this is kind of along that same line, our daily word, as I listen to you give that beautiful, beautiful opening prayer. So the Sunday, November the 12th, it is on faith. Faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. Sometimes I wish I had a way of looking into the future and knowing what to expect. But even though I cannot know how the future might unfold, I can still be prepared for it through the power of my faith. Having faith means I have unwavering fidelity to spiritual truth. My faith is my anchor, keeping me steady during shifting worldly circumstances and focused not on the things of the world, but on the power of spirit. My faith keeps me steadfast in the midst of uncertainty, inventive when met with stagnation, and adaptable when faced with changing circumstances. I turn my attention to God and feel my soul illumined by my belief that everything is working for good. I align with this truth and go forth blessed by my faith. And that from 2 Corinthians 5:7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And I would like to introduce to you Reverend Dave Lyman from Sacramento. And as I think most of you know, we began speaking at our church a long time ago in 2008. So you have been a regular part of our church for 15 years, David. Oh my gosh. Now, Dave's talk is finding spirituality in our lives. And as I remember, there's something about a cat. So I'm looking forward to your talk, and I'm going to mute myself for this. And now I welcome Reverend Dave Lyman.
Good morning, everyone. I practiced this talk on Rachel, and she said at the end of it, that's a really different sermon. So it's going to be very interesting as we go through this morning. As Barbara said, I started in 2008 with one of my very first sermons out visiting churches. And just recently, I retired from all sermons, except as I told Barbara, as long as there are Zoom meetings, I will come speak at Unity Lower Lake. So I'm hoping for some dates next year. The biggest regret I always have is that Bill Barrows and I don't get a chance to do harmony together because it's difficult to do on Zoom. So in a way, you guys kind of birthed me. And so it's a wondrous, wondrous world. One of the things that I just recently started in August was a blog. I didn't even know what they were, but now I'm doing a blog called it's called SeriouslyGod.net. And it takes a look at things. And one of the things I really got involved with is the fact that everything is spiritual. Everything. And it really is the truth that the divine is wherever we look, because after all, the magnificence of God has put it all together. So the other day I was trolling the internet, as I do often, and I came upon a book called The Tao of Meow. It actually is a book of how to train your cat using the principles of the Tao. But I haven't read the book. I just saw the cover and I thought, good luck on that. Because we both and all of us know one of the adages that is out there is it's like trying to herd cats. I once had a neighbor that tried to put her cat on a leash. What a mistake that was. There came a point in time, and I think we should always start at the beginning. So we go back to the times whereas there is a mist covering the earth. And man has just started. Man looks around and says, oh, look, those are dogs. Those are wolves. Maybe we can feed them and they'll be friends. So they fed them. And after a while, the dogs looked and said, oh my gosh, these are gods. They feed us. Then man got really ambitious and started to feed some of the wild cats. The cats looked at the food and said, ah, I must be a god. They are feeding me. And they've been that arrogant ever since. If you go to the days of Egypt, cats were adored. There were statues of cats. Cats lived in the pharaoh's houses and protected them from the snakes and the rats and the other things. And actually, the sun god Ra, was involved with cats. Because the cat was the perfect yin-yang, perfectly balanced between the tame and the wild, being social and being totally alone, being fully active and fully restful. And they're so inscrutable. If you want to have a difficult time and you have a cat, just sit and look into the cat's eyes. Eventually, you will be in the midst of a cat meditation, not being led by you. Many minutes later, you will realize that that cat has taken you on a journey of peace. There's actually a t-shirt out there that says, I'm sorry I'm late. I had a purring cat on my lap. Because as one knows, you never get up and leave a purring cat on your hat. One of the difficulties with cats being so inscrutable is there were times it wasn't a really good idea to have a cat. Ask some of the women in Salem, Massachusetts, who, if they had a cat, people would say, oh, it's a familiar. She must be a witch. But it's opened in that way because cats are clear. They seem to have a purpose. They seem to be moving forward always. And that's the very first thing before we get into my 10 points to remember about a cat. We get caught up in the duality because, again, going back to the fact that everything is spiritual, it means everything is divine. Everything. And the difficulty with that is the ego overlays that and says, well, no, that's not divine, or that's not divine. But God has her hand in everything. And this is the same kind of purpose the cat has. There is only one. There is only the divine in the cat. They're mysterious by nature. It's hard to go and work with a cat and have any kind of understanding. When I was a teenager, I used to babysit. I had a couple that had a cat, and they would come back typically between 1 and 3 in the morning. Now, I was a teenager, but there was a part of me that believed in things like werewolves. I wondered about what was really out there. And once in a while I was babysitting, I would be sitting reading a book, and suddenly the cat would jump up with all its hair up in the air, turn sideways to the front door, and hop toward the front door, hissing. My heart would be in my throat. I was sure there was a terrible person on the other side of the door coming to get me. The cat would get closer and closer to the door, and then suddenly turn around in a circle, sit down, and start licking its paw and look at me. I never did find out what that cat was doing, other than causing me to have a nightmare. Mysterious they are. The cat is the only creature on the planet that has an added attractive value for man. Now, I do want to take a step back and let all of you know who are dog people. Dogs are really good things too. I don't want to ignore dogs. My father used to say if I was out in the middle of the lake drowning, a dog would jump right in, swim out to me, and get me back to shore or lose its life in trying. And he reminded me that if there was a cat there, the cat would lick its paw and go, "You got yourself out there, buddy. Work yourself back to shore on your own." So I don't want to ignore dogs. They're tremendous creatures. But cats are the only animal that purrs. They actually have a mechanism in their body that when it's activated, it is activated because they're content and happy. I had a friend that had dogs and cats, and she said the funniest thing was one of her dogs decided it would try purring. And it would sit and just kind of, and she said the first time it did it, she couldn't tell if it was sick or it was growling. But it had spent so much time around her cats that it thought it was a good thing, and it thought it would try to purr. It was a failure because cats do it automatically. Imagine what that does for the people around you. Cats are known to drop blood pressure that way. So I came up with 10 points that we want to look at that cats do, that are points of reference for us in life. The first one, there is always enough time for everything. Now, those of us who are production oriented or love deadlines, let me say that one more time so that it can kind of sink in. There is always enough time for everything. There is a flow to life. Fritz Perls is a man who started Gestalt therapy. It's a form of therapy. And he wrote a book called Don't Push the River. The paraphrasing there was, there is a flow to life. And his argument was that man would be the only creature that decide to try to change the flow of life. It doesn't work, but man is the only one in the face of all the evidence and all truths still can believe something on their own. And if you think that's not true, please do realize there is a flat earth society that still believes that the earth is flat. I heard someone say once, if the earth was truly flat, we would know that for a fact because the cats would have pushed everything off of it. Number two, self-care is the number one part of divine self-value. We always have time for everything, but self-care is so difficult. And it seems the further along in life we get, we do start to realize, hey, you know, this self-care thing is pretty good. It's amazing what good sleep and good food and good exercise and good purring does on our mental status. You know, you might take some time this week and notice. There was a aerial group called the Flying Walendas. It was a family that would walk on a tightrope. And their act consisted of having 3 bicycles on the tightrope with 3 of the Flying Walendas, and then a bar, and 2 bikes on the bar with 2 more Flying Walendas, and then 1 on the top. And all of them had these long poles. This is how life works. Those poles are our balance points. And if we spend all our time working, one of the poles starts to get a little askew and everything else has to adjust. It's been said no one has ever come to the end of their life and looked around and said, you know, I probably should have worked more. Number 3, don't ever panic. If you want to see that for a fact, and I know there is one, there is a cat video, I'm sure, on the internet that shows a cat falling off a windowsill. 2 things will occur. The cat will land on its feet, and then it will sit and look at you and let you know that it did that on purpose. They never panic. They trust the process. And it's so difficult because when we start to trust, our ego gets in the way and goes into that one thing that causes problems everywhere. So one thing my wife, even in doing a sermon like today, my wife says, you get caught up in that also, because I'll get to the end of the sermon and half an hour from now, I'll look at her and go, how did I do? And that word is doubt. That word is doubt. Because there's a magnificence and confidence in how we do life. We do life the best we can. Oscar Wilde says, be yourself because everyone else is taken. It's that truth that you are the best you can be. And still there's that little doubt. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I'm not the best I could ever be. Well, listen, no one else could do you better than you. The next one, number 4. This is counterintuitive. It is the truth that cats never, ever, ever sit down and stop and go, I wonder what those people think of what I'm doing. It is that process that we always should be turning within for feedback about ourselves. And yet, look how much we turn to see how image is, what other people think. I was telling the story earlier of being in the grocery store with my wife. And being that I tend not to look to see what other people think, when I lose my wife in a grocery store, I bark loud, and it's a medium bark because I don't like to upset people with the big dog barks. So it's more like, "Ruff." And she will hear me and know where I am. Now, believe me, I am really not thinking what other people think when I bark. And so notice that the different things that occur in our lives, there are points where we go, well, I probably won't call that person because they're probably busy. Oh, I don't want to bother them. I'm not going to ask them that because they'll probably just say no. Make sure that all the no's in your life are done by other people and not you. Let me say that again. Make sure all the no's in your life come from you. I'm sorry, come from other people and not you. Next, aim high. Put a cat in a room and they will find the highest point in the room. This is again part of that self-centered thing. It's an interesting thing that down in Miami, when they first started building the high rises for the retirement people, and they still have this, 10 or 12 times a year, a veterinarian will get a cat that has fallen for more than 25 stories and had no injuries. It is the fact that the cat lands on its feet. It's adaptable. And the cat is the master of halfway down going, it is what it is. Let's see what's going to happen next. It's that adaptability that we can turn to because, with God as our partner, we can do anything. So it's the same kind of thing. Next is to listen. Cats are constantly listening to everything around them. They are one of the few creatures in America, in the world, that can go into sleep, and the moment they lay down and close their eyes, they're in full dream sleep, getting full value of the sleep. In the same way, the moment they are awake, they're full alert, listening to everything around them. Scientists are trying to figure out how they do that. So, of course, they can apply it to man. And so then we have this new way of sleeping. Number 7, be curious. My wife is a detail person. I believe that somewhere there is a book that says Rachel's Big Book of Questions. She has a deeply curious mind about everything. And I guarantee if I come home and say, I've talked to so-and-so and I da-da-da-da, she'll go, well, did this happen? And I'll go, oh, I didn't ask about that. The great part about it is I'm curious too, but my curiosity is in different areas than she is. So we tend to just walk around being curious. Our curiosity the other day found these. We went to the spaghetti factory, and this is a light, a little button, and it doesn't go on because the battery's down on it. And it's really romantic, and it just lights up the area around it. It's an LED light. And as soon as we saw it, we were both curious enough to grab the manager and not only make them come over, but tell us where they got them. So now, of course, we have 6 of them. Because curiosity has the follow-up of, I've got to have one. Practicing mindfulness. Cats are the best at that. They seem to be in a place of meditation. And it's a place that we need to take a step and be. And finally, it's living minimally. Minimally. The famous cat story. I bought my cat a 3-story structure with carpets and little places to hide in. I went to get a camera, take a picture of my cat in it, and I came back and my cat decided that the best part of the entire thing was the box that came in. And my cat made that box the real gift. Cats take what is given to them and go, this is the best ever. This is the best ever. And we live each day in a world filled with miracles. And so in that curiosity, working from a place of minimalism, we open up to the fact and truth that whatever is in front of us opens us to that next level. I have incredible health challenges, and my favorite statement, pardon my French, As I will say to Rachel, we'll wake up in the morning and she'll say, "How are you doing?" And I'll go, "I feel like crap, and it's wonderful." That's in relation to the truth that it is what it is. And we live with all of that each day. Can we take that breath and step back and be in that place of Zen that we see in our cats? Can we be in that place of even balance? Can we be in that place of the flying Walendas, of moving our poles and adjusting in an even way so that we're living a life fully present, fully spiritual, and fully in the truth? So that if it was possible, there would come a point when we could purr away. Have a great cat week. And for those of you who love dogs, have a great dog week. Namaste.
Namaste. Okay. Oh my goodness. I was afraid to mute myself because I got some strange markings in my box, like it's in blue and it says mute. And I was afraid if I did it, I'd be gone forever. And I didn't want that. Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. We loved it.
It was
Boy, oh boy.
definitely different.
I have one thing to share, David.
Yeah,
Can you hear
Please
me?
do.
Okay, so I have two
we
cats.
can hear you.
Oh, good. Oh, so I don't have to talk so loud. So anyway, I have this little sign on my wall that I'd like to share with you, and it says, "Thousands of years ago, cats were considered gods, and they have not forgotten that."
They never have. I have a friend, a dear minister friend, and they have a pit bull, and they live back in Kansas. And one Christmas Eve, they had gone out and they came home, and they opened the garage door and closed and got out of their car, and they heard a little meow. Now, it had been snowing, it was very cold, and apparently there had been just a couple inches at the garage door, and this little tiny kitten got in. And the cat got in, and she looked at the cat, and they called the cat Lucky because it was. But she was really concerned when she got that cat. She said, "I was really concerned we were going to have to keep her really far away from that pit bull because that pit bull was going to tear her apart." She said, "It wasn't until about 4 or 5 days later that I realized my cat had taken over the pit bull. The pit bull was constantly looking over its shoulder, wondering where the cat would jump out of next." That little kitten, because cats don't know that they are not in charge.
They're not gods. They don't know they're not gods.
Isn't that right, Bill? And you
Yeah,
know,
Bill.
the cool part about that, I love how you put that. Cats don't know they aren't gods. Guess what? We don't know. We get caught up thinking we aren't gods. And in truth, we are. So all we have to do is be like a cat. Do it with feline. Sorry.
Yep, we all got the spark of the divine right in us, so we are all part of the creator, including what the cats are. So Bill, I want you to share your cat later in chat time. I want to hear all about that cat. But let me just move ahead through some announcements, aside from the fact that your birthday's coming up, but that's okay. Let's go ahead to announcements then. Let's see. Future talks. Okay. So next Sunday at church, we are having, of course, a wonderful talk from our Patricia Holler, and followed by a Thanksgiving turkey potluck. And so we hope you will join us. Gina's bringing the turkey and some stuff, and yeah, and I think I got some pumpkin pies coming, and somebody else has got, oh yeah, marshmallows on top of the yams. I don't know. Just come enjoy. Bill's going to be singing, And we should have a wonderful Thanksgiving celebration at church. And then the following, somebody that Dave recommended 100 years ago, Janae Marth, is going to be our Zoom speaker. And we're so excited. And her talk, The Christmas Season is the Season of Light. And so Bill's going to do the music. It should be just a fabulous, fabulous talk. And since you're Zoom people, you may, I hope to see you all. And then here we go. Let me see. Oh, donations, always appreciated. As you know, mail to Unity, P.O. Box 755, 755. And then in Lower Lake, California, 95457. 95457. And so I would like to go ahead and before Bill sings the peace song, let me do the prayer for protection. Very, very beautiful and true. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, because I am, and all is wonderful. And Bill, would you please sing the peace song to end the service? And then we'll go to chats.
Let there be
Okay, Bill.
and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin